Wow, so cool. Very sexy. Chaos. Chaos, chaos.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Windbreaker's podcast. Ooh, I was caught off guard there. I thought the ad was longer. Hello, I'm Yahtzee Croshaw, the man, the legend. I'm joined by Jay and Marty,
Womp womp.
who are also
myths.
men. Yes, the men, the half-remembered anecdote.
I like it.
And this week we're talking about, yellow paint's on the thumbnail, but I think the topic we wanted to do was immersive navigation in games, not necessarily yellow paint.
Yellow paint's the
Yeah.
easiest way, I think, to just kind of get the point across. But
It's shorthand for
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
The ways games come up with to direct the player will help them navigate an environment. Because I, for one, have seen quite a few interesting ways they've been doing that lately. And I think this is all appropriate response, partly to people complaining about yellow paint, but also to the problem of games keeping all that to the interface. Because the practical effect of something like Horizon, where the objective markers just like superimposed onto your view in the traditional HUD manner, is that all your focus ends up being on those elements. You're not appreciating the environment. You're not looking at all the wonderful scenery all these people have been enslaved to create for your amusement.
Yeah. Assassin's
So
Creed
what-
got another one for doing that.
Yeah. So what has the industry came up with to get around that? I'll tell you the one that struck me recently was when I was playing Mafia: The Old Country.
Oh, really?
I assume that's the one you wanted to bring up, Marty.
yeah, that's the one that kind of sparked the topic for me
Yeah.
as well.
Because rather than seeing like a line on a map or an objective marker hovering over the view, what happens is, after you select your destination, road signs spontaneously appear on the side of the road, pointing in with the very obvious arrow pointing in the direction you need to turn next at every junction.
Yeah. So there'll be a
That's
pole, and the
interesting.
pole will have one single street sign, and that street sign is pointing
always
in the
where you need to
direction
go.
of, when you get to a Y, it's pointing, go to the right side.
Well,
you don't
also,
and you don't see them appear. They're just already there when you drive
Yeah,
up.
it's very set, and they're not like brightly colored or anything. They feel very kind of naturalistic in the environment.
diegetic to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
they're
not sure
diegetic.
how many street signs existed in Sicily in 1905. I don't know how
No, quite.
historically accurate it is, but
Well,
it feels accurate enough.
Yes.
I like that. Like, on topic
Yeah.
to Yahtzee's Fully Ramblematic this week, Tales of the Shire had an interesting one as well, which was on signs, street signs, birds will always be moving and sitting in the direction that you need to go. So it's just follow the
Yes.
birds.
That was another one I wanted to bring up. Just
Yeah.
as you approach like the multi-directional signs that are at the junction of every path, a little bird will fly down and land on the arrow that points towards the direction you need to be going.
Some of those are like, I didn't know about the Mafia one until someone else pointed it out. And then once they
Yeah.
did, I saw it. So part of me was like, this is really cool, but I also didn't notice it. So
It
was
doesn't tell you?
No,
Not that I noticed. I was also playing the game on stream with the caveat that like I'm using
Yeah.
whatever 75% of my brain. But
I'm
I
pretty
didn't
sure
notice
Mafia-
it until someone told me.
I'm pretty sure Mafia does tell you about it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, because I remember looking out for it when it was pointed out by the game.
sure.
It'd be
sure.
a waste if they didn't tell you.
Yeah. I know one of my complaints, I love the game, but Claire Obscure from earlier this year, one of my complaints was with the lack of map, some of the areas are kind of
Yes.
confusing. They're not like super well designed areas from a level design perspective.
Well, I said the same thing in my review, but people got up my ass in the comments because apparently you're supposed to notice that the area you're supposed to go next is lit up with lights and stuff.
Another game literally rolled credits on, did not know that until afterwards. So
No, I had no fucking clue.
I think it's also, these are interesting because it's one of those things where kind of annoying, egregious yellow paint is there not for us on this show, not for probably people watching this show or listening to this show on Spotify. It's for people who don't play that many games. It's for
My mum,
casuals because I'm sure they test this shit into the ground, and normies play a game and are like, I don't know where to go. Like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
And maybe subtle lighting
You'll-
or subtle things like that don't get the point across to someone
You'll
who's
think it's heavily signified, like you think your chiaroscuro lighting is enough, but it really isn't. Like testing any game is a nightmare because you think it's just so pin perfect. Like, yeah, everyone's going to understand this, and less than half of the people who play will, because they didn't make the fucking game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that experience the first time I showed people the tutorial in Starstruck Vagabond. I had to go right back to the
I
drawing
remember
board
you had that
after
problem with me, right? When
Yes,
I tested it on the first time. Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
why
part of
this is why focus testing is so important.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And part of it goes back to, I know it's a video you made a while back, Jay, I think on Horizon, about how like visuals are so good and there is so much going on screen now that sometimes it's like, even if you have something that's supposed to stand out to guide the player, it can get lost in the noise of everything else because everything else is like a sensory overload.
Yeah. This is
I've always thought this about current graphics. I remember bringing this up in my review of Avatar, whatever the subtitle for that game was.
Pandora.
Frontiers
fuckery,
of Pandora.
That was it.
Yeehaw.
But yeah, I mean, back in the day, if you were playing something like Doom or Serious Sam or something, you'd know what was important because you'd have the walls and floor, and then you'd have magic floating objects just spinning like 2 feet off the floor. There's obviously a health pack or a gun.
Yeah.
But now, like, they've added so much detail to the environments. Every game now has to have like the obvious glowing outline around the things you can actually pick up.
But even like Doom kind of had the pain in the ass. I guess I'll click on every wall until one of them opens up. Like, were there visual signifiers to what wall could open up?
Sometimes it depended on the level designer. That's not really the same
That's
thing.
just a
as,
level
like,
design problem, I think.
That's not quite the same thing as being able to differentiate the gun you're able to pick up from everything else in the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. Because when I think early examples of this, of me like realizing as a child that like, oh, the designer was guiding me, is something like in a Zelda dungeon when a wall has a crack in it, and that signifies, oh, you can blow this wall up. And it's like sometimes not super obvious, but it kind of, there is a small amount of, oh, I am paying attention and I saw this little clue that they dropped, so I will bomb this.
There's mechanical conditioning within that, right? The game has tutorialized you to understand that cracks in walls mean these things. Not necessarily in OG Zelda; those things are left up to player interpretation. But those were the Wild West of game design days. These were brand new things coming in. But nowadays, it's all tutorialized, so those things can be sought out and looked for. But the problem with modern game design, and like, so game designers will know this, Yahtzee will know this, like the first thing that happens is a block out of the level design and you do the initial tests. And a lot of the times with bigger companies, those block out scenes are then given to environment artists to spruce up and make pretty and make work within the context of the world. It usually starts as a white boxed, a load of boxes everywhere. And what might work in the white box then becomes a mess because it's covered in foliage, it's covered in whatever makes sense for that world. And then what worked in the white box level design now no longer works. And you have to go back and change it again. And it's just this back and forth. And that's no fault of the environment artists. They're doing their job, right? They're making it work. But it does make the level designer's job 10 times harder and takes a lot more time because games are so pretty.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. How do you guys feel about a button?
A button?
Giving a button. The player has a button they can hit, and when you press a button, something happens that
detective mode, basically.
A detective mode, maybe
I
a
expect
gust
you
of
mean
wind.
I expect you mean more like something like the Dead Space thing, where you press a button to reveal the line on the ground, or the South of Midnight thing, where you press a button to show you what's the direction you need to go in for the actual plot, and that tells you which way to go in, so you can explore every other route for all the like hidden collectibles first.
Yeah, I believe even Ghost of Tsushima is on the thumbnail. Jin
Yeah.
had the guiding wind, I want to say. It's a button you hit and sort of a breeze appears and you follow the breeze to get to a thing.
So
Yeah.
that's the interesting one. That's always there, but you can
Always.
highlight it. You can make the wind gust faster and push
Gotcha.
more in the direction. So it's
Yeah.
always present.
And I think you
So
could choose if it's like, oh, take me to a main objective or take me to the monkey shrines. I don't know if that game had monkey shrines. Probably has
Yeah.
monkey shrines.
See, my
Yeah,
problem is that I've got a terrible sense of direction and a terrible memory. So when I've got that sort of thing, I tend to overuse it.
Yeah, and
Like-
it gets annoying when you're just jamming on that over and over. You're like, this isn't
Yeah,
fun.
again, we run into the problem where we stop paying attention to the actual environment and enjoying the scenery because all we're
Yeah.
seeing is the thing we've been trained to be the only thing we notice.
Yeah, I find myself doing that a lot when I'm stuck in an internal space in Fallout New Vegas, which I'm imagining that's notoriously bad at that. But if you're in like a multi-level vault, the map is fucking useless and everything looks the same. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, this is one of those things I would love to have a very simple fucking trail of breadcrumbs like Fable did it, or Perfect Dark Zero famously had just a line on the ground, an arrow on the ground that would just be like the most fucking here it is, you dummy.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've been playing Skyrim again, and yeah, you go through a dungeon in that, and the indicator is like an objective marker hovering over precisely the location where the thing you want is,
Yeah.
with no like acknowledgement of what sort of corridors you have to turn to actually reach it. It just says it's in that direction.
Mhm.
There's like 3 walls between you and it, but figure it out.
I have a weird opinion on this. So I love maps in games. They're like one of my favorite things in games. And I think a lot of the time the modern game design sensibility is spoken about in one of my previous videos on open world design of having a motive, a thing you want, the journey to it, and then the reward for getting there. I feel like a lot of modern game design is forgetting that the journey in itself is meant to be the entertaining part. And
Yeah.
a lot of the times now it's A/B. It's moved from one place to the next, and
Mhm.
the journey itself isn't fun. And I think a lot of that comes down to map design and how we signify it. So I want a game that encourages you to basically use the map and landmarks as a form of navigation. I was talking to a friend about this, about Red Dead Redemption 2, and he played it HUDless and only used the map, and he would have to be like, okay, well, I'm going to X place, and I know there's a mountain next to it, so he
Or
would
if I
use
follow this river
mountains
or
as the
whatever.
signifier.
Yeah. That's
You know,
And then
there's-
him getting there was the fun.
yeah.
And I was
No,
like,
the
that's
ga-
really
a game-
interesting.
Yeah.
A game that did that I enjoyed, I refer to that as orienteering as a mechanic.
Mhm.
Firewatch was a game that did that well, but you had to
Yeah.
know to turn off the indicator on the map that showed you exactly where you
Yeah.
were, which
Yeah.
was on by default. And I found that if you turn that off, miraculously the game became a game as opposed to
Yeah.
a walking sim,
Yes.
because you actually had to orienteer based on landmarks.
Yeah. And if you are able to do it, I think that's a sign of a well-designed level, like a well-designed
Yes.
environment. If you can
Yes.
literally use those landmarks and not use
Yeah.
the whatever
When
giant arrow again is.
when I reveal my game next month to the patrons, I want people who watch it to come back to this episode and listen to this conversation.
Yeah.
Tease, tease, tease.
Is it yellow paint? Yellow paint
It's,
colon the
I'm
game?
making yellow paint simulator.
Yeah.
There was another orienteering. I don't know if either of you guys remember this game. This is probably 10 or 12, 15 years ago. Miasmata.
Yeah.
It was a first person kind of like survival. You're on an island. There's a spooky thing there. But again, everything is you have this paper map and you are orienteering, being like, oh, there is a grove at the foot of this mountain, and that's where I need to go. So I need to find where the fuck this mountain is around me and then make my way down to the grove. I also like a game that the map, I guess we're just getting to maps are kind of related to this, but where it checks things off as you find them. I always think the Silent Hill 2 map, or I guess Silent Hill map in general, of we'll put X's on the doors. Like, this is what James would have done with this map. He tried a door, it didn't work, and he put a red X on it. Like, it's a little annoying to have to check every door, but I like the fact that the game rewards you for that by saying, okay, if you look at your map, you'll know this door is locked. Like, this door is barred.
Well, that's interesting, right? Because a map marker or something you can see on your screen is effectively gamifying your character's memory. The character knows where they're going. So
Yeah.
to compartmentalize that all down, we're going to put a marker on your screen so you, the player, also know where you're going.
Sure.
But I think a lot of that is like, I like games where you put the character in a situation where they're learning about their environment the same time you are. So you don't need to have that kind of, oh, we're going to shorthand it and put all these markers everywhere. I want to learn as the character does, so I don't feel like I'm being like my hand is being held. I don't particularly like when you press a button and then it shows you where to go. One, because it just feels very video gamey, and two, it makes me feel dumb. Like, oh, I have to resort to this because I can't figure out what I'm doing and where I'm going.
Especially
like
if it
looking up
does
a puzzle
do the
solution.
visual overlay, like a Detective Vision or The Last of Us or Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed or Batman, you know, any of those where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, everything turns black and white or monochrome or sepia or inverted colors or whatever. You're like, it's just kind of ugly. Like, I don't want to just continually have it look like this.
You know, I think there might be a sector of the audience, because I know I might enjoy this, that would appreciate it if you had the Silent Hill system, but it doesn't have the crosses automatically. It just gives you the ability to freehand draw on the map yourself.
Yeah, that's that was a big selling point of the Etrian Odyssey series / Persona Q. Was your bottom screen on the DS is just draw your map, draw your own map.
Because I have a sense that people would feel more invested in doing that.
I have a feeling in a month, Jay's going to want to come back to that.
I'm losing my fucking mind right now.
Oh.
We need to talk about, like, us three need to talk about my game. I've been, for the audience, I've actively not been telling these guys because I want to have it be at a point where I'm happy with it before, because you only get one chance for a first impression. And I respect these guys' opinion massively. So,
did I just unintentionally intuit something about your game?
This entire conversation is unintentionally intuiting a lot about my game.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Small details that I wrote down that might also be somewhat related to this. Yahtzee, I know you and I have complained in the past about when you have multiple ways to go, and then you go one, and you're like, oh, I didn't think this would take me out of the area, and then lock progress behind me. One thing I really like, I'm replaying Metal Gear Solid 3. When you get close to a point where you're about to go to the next screen, the game goes into letterbox for a little bit. And so, and you have like probably 20 feet of letterbox before you move on to the next area. And I like that you can get there and be like, oh, I don't want to actually leave this area yet. I want to explore everything else. And then you can go back around. And I think that's just a nice, like, you could pop open your map, or there's something in game that isn't super intrusive, but will also, clue you in that you're about to exit the screen without making it like bold and flashy and annoying.
Yes, well, that's something you could do in games that have transition screens. Not so much in games where everything's one big map.
Yeah.
Or
it's
like
hard to do
games,
that.
Well, it's part of it. You can have a clear objective, right, from the narrative. So thinking back to like Atomic, what was it called? The recent
Atomic
one?
Hearts.
Atom Falls? No, Atom Fall.
Atomfall. Yes.
Atomfall does a really interesting thing of having all of its objectives be based on what you're seeing in the environment. Like, go find the lab. Once you find something that looks like a lab, you've found it, right? Very, very interesting. But you have to have those clear objectives. So if you walk into a building and one room is a lab and one room isn't, one's the path of progression and the other is side content, right? But for games to have semi-interesting narratives, sometimes the goal has to be obfuscated and there has to be mystery and interest, and you can't really guide like that if everything's a mystery, like in an open world game. So it's difficult to do.
This seems to be an emerging trend, because I've been playing an upcoming game called Hell Is Us, which I can't say much about because it's still under embargo. But it also does the thing where, actually, suddenly I'm not sure I can talk about it.
Oh no!
What I was about to bring up, but it does a similar thing where there's no objective markers, there's no map. It's all just context clues. People just say, "Hey, the thing you're looking for is to the northwest of the village."
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind a character.
It's a trend.
Telling me, does that? If a character tells you something, is it written down somewhere? like that you can pull back up, or is it something that literally you are like, "Ooh, I need to remember that." Oh, there's
Yeah,
a
you
cave
gotta.
southwest of here that might have something interesting.
You have an info pad that keeps track of important facts.
I feel like it's a whole other topic.
Do you
Yeah.
do you know what game does that really well? Sekiro. Like I
Yes,
made a video ages ago, before I was with the Escapist, of like how Sekiro taught me to read, because its characters tell you where to go, and they like in in text and also in the things they've written. Otherwise, you don't really know where you're going, and because of that, it made me care about the narrative more. I have this weird trend of like getting into dialogue with some characters, and if I'm not really vibing with like what they're saying or what they're doing, I kind of stop listening and want to like start skipping and get to the gameplay. But that game taught me to be like, well, no, I need to pay attention. I need to listen to what they're saying, because otherwise I won't know where I'm going, and it helps me invest myself in the narrative.
I like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, Souls like and yeah, standard sort of From Software game rarely include maps. Elden Ring was the outlier. Dark Souls
Yeah.
never had one.
Yeah.
And, although it never gave you much direction either. It was like, hey, find the Bells of Awakening. Chop, chop. One of them's at the bottom of the earth,
Yeah.
past like fucking Blighttown and the Depths and the fucking Gaping Dragon. But that's we're not going to tell you any of that. It's just like, hey, find it. It's down.
Yeah, it does. It does a pretty good job of doing or at least framing something in the distance that looks interesting, a landmark that you constantly have a goal towards. Like the
Yeah.
mountain in Journey is always your goal, and it's getting closer and closer, and everything you're doing like can't really get turned around because you know you're constantly heading towards
That's
towards
That
this thing.
works. That works because they're third-person games. I mean, I've seen like a lot of indie top-down isometric stuff, like Tunic and Death's Door and that sort of thing. And they try to do the like explore the environment Souls-like style, but because you can't see more than 20 feet in front of you, it's a lot more confusing to get around.
I think that is a point of view thing, which is it's a hard thing to do in a 2D or a top-down game. You know, it's hard to do in a side scroller or a Metroidvania or anything like that. I like. I've also been replaying a little bit of Hollow Knight. I like again, if we're just talking about maps, I like how it replicates the act of you writing something down by you need to get to, was his name Cornifer, the map man, little map man,
Yeah.
who's always like whistling. You need to get to him to buy like a map of an area, and then you need to sit down on a bench, which is kind of like, I guess, in lore where you sketch out the map and be like, oh, okay, this is where I've been. This is how far I've gotten in
Yes.
in this area. Which
Yes, let me just use my eidetic memory and
Yeah.
draw out the map.
You know, say about bugs. Bugs have great memory. Are you a bug in Hollow Knight? What are you?
Yeah, you're a bug.
You're a bug.
Everything's a bug. Everything in
Everything's a
Hollow Knight
bug.
is a bug.
If everything's a bug, nothing's a bug. Think about that.
Apart from the spiders, but
Yeah.
Spiders are
also-
bugs. They're not insects, but they're bugs.
Get out of town. Are they
they're
different?
arachnids. They're not bugs.
Yeah,
I
spiders are
thought
arachnid.
insects was a fancy word for a bug.
No, well,
like-
I would say a worm is a bug, but a worm isn't an insect either.
Yeah, I like. I also just, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, I personally don't mind yellow paint, which I know is, I think a lot of people
Well,
really
it
get
goes
mad
way
at it, but-
back. I was trying to think like the history of this sort of thing.
Mm.
I would say it probably goes back to Mirror's Edge, how everything was illustrated, because the environment design was mostly stark white, but the way you were supposed to go was all decked out in very harsh reds, and that was the
splashes
trick.
of color run towards it.
Yeah, and I want to say that in an ideal world, you should be able to do all of this with level design alone. Like it's like Half-Life always managed. Admittedly, it was quite a linear game, but you know,
Yeah.
when you emerge from the underground in Half-Life Episode 1, and everything you look at, from like the fallen telegraph poles to the ruins in the distance, is directing your gaze at the thing you're supposed to be focusing on. And in the context of that sort of thing, having to fall back on a fucking magic Dead Space direction indicator or an objective marker feels like giving up. Like, hey, we didn't design the environment properly. Now we have to compensate. We have to give you a crutch.
Yeah.
I think one thing with that is that the team at Valve during the Half-Life Portal era were like literally top of class designers. So
Right.
it's hard for me to just be like, it'd be like telling, I don't know, every player in the NBA just be more like him, and then pointing to Michael Jordan. It's like, well, some of them might not be able to
Well,
be more like him.
I think any one of us would be able to answer the question when you show them, like you throw them into a room, bam, and then say, "What's the first thing you look at?" I think anyone can answer that. What's the
Yeah.
very first thing you notice when you look at like a cluttered room?
Sure.
Like-
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a good point.
it's just
Also,
extrapolating from that.
there are UI designers and level designers do this thing called like heat mapping, where through focus testing they can use eye tracking to tell what people are looking at. And a lot of the times with UI, there are hotspots in the middle to top area, like middle and top middle, really, really hot. Corners, really fucking cold. A lot of people don't really look there. And that's weird why we put UI elements down in those corners. It's beyond me.
Players just don't look up. That's the rule of designing games.
Yes.
Players never look
People
up.
look up. Most people don't look up. Most people, their necks are cranked down when they're wandering
Unless
around.
you're Stormveil Castle, and then in Elden Ring, they condition you to look up via Stormveil.
Damn.
I need to remake that video. That was a good.
That's
one.
from. I thought you were gonna say they should remake that game, and I was like, no, they shouldn't.
They should redo that game. On the topic of yellow paint, I'm fine with it as long as it's diegetic to the world. If I look at your yellow paint and go, "Who the fuck did this and why?" I hate it. But like, do you know what's really good yellow paint? Bird shit. Birds sit on ledges, and birds shit a lot using that cloaca, canonical cloaca. So, call back to our fundraiser stream. And that makes a lot of sense, for there would be white like dribble on this ledge because birds poop on ledges, and it gives you a signifier for where you can grab. Makes a lot of sense.
Well,
But painted yellow, not so much.
Right. Well, it doesn't work for every setting, does it? It wouldn't work for an interior setting.
Robo pigeons. There we got. Sci-fi's covered.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. My thing is like, so we showed the Mirror's Edge example. Eric pulled up a clip of it, and it to me just feels like artsy yellow paint. Is like, look, the door is red, and this hallway is yellow, and I'm like, well, is that any different than Final Fantasy VII just sloshing yellow paint? I mean, it's done more tactfully, I'd say, but I feel like it's ultimately kind of the same. I don't know. Like, I don't.
Okay, it goes a lot deeper because you have to think about gameplay systems, and yellow paint is only really if you have context climbing, like in some of the Call of Duties or say Assassin's Creed. The first ledge is the important yellow paint. Once the person is climbing, they can intuit what is grabbable based on trajectory. But if you have jumps that you can miss and grabbing, like in Assassin's Creed, it's automatic. If you have a game where you have to grab things, if the player jumps, thinks something is grabbable and falls to their death, they are always going to blame the game's signifiers rather than themselves. That's just a natural thing the player does.
Yeah.
So it depends how your systems work, whether you need lots of yellow paint. And also people are idiots, you know.
I remember that. Like the old Prince of Persia 1, Tomb Raider 1 thing. We actually had to hold down the grab button to grab a ledge. Like it was realistic or something.
What a pain. What a real pain.
So it's almost like being...
I like it.
So it's like having the ability to grab a ledge with your hands as you fall past it is actually really hard.
Yeah, I like that though, because like something about the Assassin's Creed, I was playing Shadows of War recently, and there's something about the Assassin's Creed movement that it feels very fluid, but then once you realize that you basically can't fall off anything and it's basically doing it automatically, it just became a chore. Like there's no thought process into what I'm doing. I'm just holding forward and going. And I want to think when I'm playing a game.
Corridor climbing is what it is. At least like the early Assassin's Creeds would have you have to like stop for a minute to figure out what route you're going to take as you climbed up a building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You weren't always handheld through it.
Yeah.
There's also games that do you need to have sound on for navigation. You know, something that goes back to like navigating the Lost Woods in a Zelda game, or even again Cornifer in like you enter a room and he's whistling.
Like that. I don't like that. It's not good for deaf people or people like me who want to listen to podcasts while they play.
I feel like the first one is a very understandable concern.
Conifer, at least you can look for like the pieces of paper that are sprinkled out as well.
Sure.
He has
No,
multiple
and
signifiers for sure.
and there are certain games where I'm like, oh, I can't play this while second screening because there
Yeah.
will be audio cues here. So,
There's
yeah. How do you
value
feel
in that,
about
I
just
think,
like
though.
toggles, like accessibility toggles? Like, I think a lot of games have that, right? Where you can like turn off yellow paint, and if you want to just try to navigate the world, go ahead. Yeah.
We were talking
I-
about this on the fundraiser. I turn the UI off in my games at every chance I get. If the game's playable with no UI, I'll do it. Like
Mhm.
my first ever Elden Ring playthrough was HUDless
That
because
is
mainly for
insane.
filming for the
How do you know
video
how much health
stuff.
you have?
But
Yeah, the
Fuck it.
suspense.
When you die,
how much health do you have now, Marty? Like
Damn,
Man,
let's get deep.
yes, if I could
you
envision
can do
my
other
health bar.
signifiers, right?
Yeah,
If I
I
could
made
envision
an
my
entire
bar,
episode
it
on
would be a
health
bit,
bars, right?
worrying.
yeah.
Yes. Well, did we have a conclusion?
Here's an yellow
If
paint's
it's
fine
diegetic,
sometimes.
big thumbs up.
Yes, I guess my conclusion was yes, it was kind of neat that Mafia, the old country, did the signpost thing. If only there was an actual point to having an open world in that fucking game.
Yeah, that's a whole different argument.
If it's diegetic and it makes me pay more attention to the world, it's a net positive.
There you go.
I like it.
Right, well, super chat time, I think.
Some per chumps.
Quite a few have come in. Sorry if you're experiencing like the spottiness I've heard mentioned in the
Sounds
chat.
like a YouTube. That's a YouTube
Yeah.
problem.
That's a
thing.
YouTube problem. You can always watch this back on VOD. That'll probably be all right. Or you
Got a bit
could
of
listen to the podcast on Spotify if that's the
Spotify. Think about that.
if that's the one. Yes, yes, they're all there now. Not enough people realize that apparently.
Yeah, Fully Ramblo. All our podcasts are on Spotify. You don't have
Yeah.
to look at us. Think about that.
Yeah, you don't have to
Thank
see
God.
how we all look like the same person with slightly different shaped faces.
Oh, that's a little true.
It's very true.
All right, this is super chat time. When I read out the super chats, I have to read them out, even if they're rude. Bear that in mind. Raven gives $5 and says, Raven's weekly word of the week. Week 13, miscellany. Which should be fairly obviously is a noun form of miscellaneous.
Yeah.
So how did your day of streaming go? I was able to hop on and off throughout the day. It went rather well, actually. We made like 3/4 of our Adventurers Nigh Season 5 target. You can see in the top left there.
Yeah, absolutely crushing it. Thank you so much to everyone who showed up for some/most of that stream. It was an absolute blast. Thank you all.
It was great.
You guys are great.
Yes. We got to make jokes about Jay's balls dropping during Fling to the Finish.
We
It
did.
was
Oh,
fun.
that game infuriated me. My God.
Well, you know, saying a stream bait game infuriated you. It's like saying, oh, this ice cream made my mouth cold. Amayasa gives 50 AED and says, not particularly interested in this stream. Well, fuck you, Amayasa. But want to thank Yahtzee for recommending Ooh and Seat Taken. They look fun, and I'm planning to play them. Been a while since I've cool art thank to Wind team.
Samir.
Okay.
Yes.
Glad
Did you
you
like
enjoyed
Ooh?
them.
Did you like Ooh and Seat Not Taken? Or Seat
I-
is the Seat Taken?
I did like Ooh. I didn't like Seat Taken quite as much, but Ooh is just a very solidly designed game. I was very impressed.
Agreed.
I'll check it out.
Sovereign gives 20 euros and says, as I've mentioned in other recent SCs, I've been playing Abiotic Factor recently. And one of the SCP style entities in that is literally a bucket of yellow paint that seems to want to guide people. Thought it
That's
was a
pretty
fun reference.
That's
That's
fun.
pretty good. Yeah.
That's fun. I like that.
I don't mind a little critter that Ghost of Tsushima did that as well. I believe there's like a little fox you could follow, and then he
Yeah.
might lead you to something neat. I like following a
Fallen
critter.
Jedi. You have your little
Yeah.
robot who will run
Yeah,
off
yeah.
to specific locations and stuff. I dig
I
it.
think I was talking of, I did like a semi-emblematic way back on the language of colour in games. I think I concluded that we do have a sort of association between yellow and utility. That's why yellow and black stripes are used to warn people away from things, and why a lot of road signs are yellow.
Yellow
Yeah.
tape is to ward people away
Yeah.
from crime scenes.
Yeah, I think that works.
Interest in that. Hjor37 gives 50 Danish kroner and says, I've only seen it in Great Circle. Didn't really notice till I was halfway through the Vatican, so I guess it wasn't too intrusive, but I did notice.
But like you're intuiting it, right? Before you notice, you're like, oh, like you just know, oh, I can climb here.
Do you think that there's in the same way you said that there's kind of a difference in when I mentioned landmarks in the distance, how you can't do that in certain point of views? Do you think there's certain forms of navigation that can be done in first person that can't be done in third person, or vice versa? Like, Indiana Jones is majority first person. It kind of toggles to third person when you're climbing or whatever.
I think Dead Space's follow the line on the floor thing wouldn't have worked so well in first person because, of course, you don't see as much of the floor in the first
You'd
person.
have to look down.
Yeah. And I guess in third person, like the fact that all the shit is like diegetic from Isaac's suit, you kind of need to see Isaac in order to be able to see his ammo and his spine power or whatever.
Well,
I would think that was a bit fussy.
I love it.
Like at this point, it might as well just be a HUD. It functionally is. You're just trying to show off now.
But it had diegesis.
I mean, we can't see our own backs. Maybe we have health bars on the back. Never looked.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I think in the debate between third and first person as well, the level of detail attention a player will have in first and third person is different. Because if you see something on a table in third person, if you want to look at it closely, you have to do some camera fuckery and like stand away from it and turn the back camera towards it. Like most players aren't going to think to do that. So the level of attention to detail is different when you're in those different formats.
Because first person, as I've said, is actually more restrictive than the actual human field of vision. And third person over the shoulder is actually closer to the normal human field of vision. So in first person can feel like you're wearing blinkers and that your gaze is specifically directed at the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas third person over the shoulder more encourages a complete view of the environment.
Yeah, that's why the first person in VR works so well, because you're actually getting peripheral vision.
Yeah.
Rather than just this blinker.
Well, that's an interesting one. I haven't put a ton of time in VR. Have any VR games done something interesting with navigation like that? That I guess
it's difficult because you're either a climbing game, right, which is it's all navigation and it's mainly just done in grabbing, or it's throw your shoes, movement. So
yeah.
Amiyasa gives 10 AEDs and says, "Played ooh, very nice. We'll play more of it later."
Nice.
And then gives another 10. Then gives another 10 and says, "Context: I played 40 mins and SCS were hours apart."
Oh, the super chats were hours apart. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Decondo gives £5 and says, "The original Darksiders didn't have yellow paint and I got lost more than once, not realizing I could grab onto an unassuming pipe."
Mm-hmm.
I like unassuming pipe.
How do you guys feel about NPCs coming to tell you what to do if you take too long?
Well, that seems to be
Like
standard
Atreus.
practice, especially in like Ghost Train Ride style games. There's always seems to be like the NPC who has to be telling you where to go.
Yeah, like that became a big topic of conversation during God of War Ragnarok, because at launch, Atreus would too quickly like hit his barks and it would be like one of those, I'm literally exploring the area, like there's a treasure chest there, like of course I'm not moving on to the next area.
Just
I
let
want to
me
get this thing.
So
Again, it has to be, I think, a fine line of the game has to like really know that the player is getting frustrated and not just taking their time because they want to see things.
I think it needs to be about more than just how much time you spent in the room. They need to like calculate it based on what the players looked at. Like if they've looked at the relevant thing multiple times and haven't picked up on that it's important, then by all means, have the NPC says, "Hey, what was that thing you were just looking at, dumbass?"
Yeah. But if they haven't even made their way to that half of the room because they're scouring the other half, then you can settle down. Yeah.
Yes.
But how would you feel if the player? How would you feel if the, just like with the detective vision or show me where to go button, you had a "Hey Atreus, tell me what to do, son" button, and you could just be like, "I'm stuck." Hint. Like I would feel terrible. I just feel like, oh god.
Yeah.
I hate that.
You don't want to have the player like opt into that, because that would really take. It would probably take you out of the game as well.
I like when there's certain puzzles have this where you can there's almost like a 3-tiered hint system where it's like a vague hint, a somewhat specific hint, and then, hey, we're gonna fucking tell you what the answer is. And I
Ooh.
don't mind a vague hint, like maybe the character says something like, "Oh, remember what was the shaman back at the village trying to tell us about?" And then, oh, the shaman, if you remember, was the guy who gave us the
Yeah.
spell that we could conjure a vine or whatever.
Fun fact: Sierra Online used to publish hint books for their adventure games, which came with a special pen, and there'd be like 4 hints, and you'd reveal them one at a time with the special pen, and
I like
they'd
that.
be
That's
they'd
cool.
each give more and more of a hint.
That's neat.
I love that.
I like that.
Lastimosa's gives 50 things. Pesos, I think, and says Abiotic Factor has the best yellow paint. Play it. Oh, I think someone already gave that joke
Oh, there we
away.
go.
What's
Lastimosa's.
going on with this help with this abiotic factor? Everyone's talking about this game.
Well, specifically about the yellow paint gag.
Oh, because it's a little monster.
Yeah. Diane Spencer gives £50.
Hey.
That's the most money. Pounds are the best money. And says,
Agreed.
I have a new job. Thank you for your support. Congratulations, Diane Spencer.
Yes. Spencer. Thank you for your support.
Yes.
Hey, not everyone's getting
GG,
laid
Diane.
off.
Yay.
King and Commoner gives $5 and says, I liked South of Midnight had a dedicated go this way button that I could ignore, or more importantly, use and go the other way. Yeah, that's how I played that game.
Yeah.
Collect all the hidden secrets and then go the way it actually tells you to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Players
The
are,
button wasn't
are so
too
eager
annoying
to
about
blame.
It was like
Yeah.
they had a sort of like ethereal thing, like the
E-
thing in Donnie Darko.
Oh,
That-
well, so yeah, like come out of your chest
Yeah.
and like guide you a wisp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hawk
even-
sorry.
Even in instances where the player will not use it for the majority of the game, but then need to use it in one instance, they will nearly always blame the game rather than their own misunderstanding of the situation.
Oh, I mean,
that's
that's-
like just testing 101.
Yeah, that's also human nature to where we could say we don't want yellow paint, and then the second we're lost, we're like bad game design, bad level design.
Yeah.
I do the same.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, game's broke. Game's clearly
Ooh.
broke.
Mhm.
I don't know how to leave this room. Game's broke.
Oh, we
Take it
can't
back to the
be
kitchen.
helped.
We
We can't be pleased. Hogbridging gives 199 says Ocarina of Time Link's eyes would look at important things like the first boss. Miyamoto was worried gamers wouldn't look up, which was the trigger for first boss.
That's right.
Yeah, they don't. But also because in third person, how are you gonna like if you're like, oh, I'm lost? Shall I turn the camera to look at Link
Yeah.
and then watch his eyes? Like nobody's gonna think to do that. That's just a nice
Yeah.
detail.
Hmm.
That first boss has a couple things. It has sound to where you enter the room and the room is silent, except you could hear like something walking somewhere. And since you
Yeah.
can't see it on the ground, maybe you'll look up. And the Ocarina of Time also has Navi, or Navi, or whatever
Yahtzee missed it all because he was listening to a podcast.
He was listening. Yeah, back in '98, he was listening to the world's first podcast.
They did that in Twilight Princess as well, didn't they? Because there was a boss fight that was like a fucking massive great spider on the ceiling, but it didn't actually start the boss fight until you looked up and saw it.
So you
I
looked up,
remember it
yeah.
kind-
I think it was a
I
direct
remember it
callback.
being fucking terrifying
Mhm.
because I played that.
You almost don't want to look
before
up.
I
You're
played.
like, I don't want to look up.
Man, Twilight Princess has the slowest opening. I really like Twilight
Goats.
Princess. I think it's a good game.
Yeah, I have fond memories of some of it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Not the first hour of it.
No, I like being a dog. That's cool.
Once you get out into the world, it's actually pretty fun. But you know,
That is one of those it gets good after X amount of hours games.
yeah, astonishing number of dungeons as well. There's like 12.
Yeah, and some cool weapons. You get that weird little like top spin you can ride
Yeah.
on, the fucking Beyblade.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Hashtag remake Twilight Princess without the first hour.
That's what they should. They should have just chopped it from the Wii U version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was same time, wasn't it? Like the Wii U and GameCube version came out at the same time, or the Wii and GameCube
No.
rather.
The Wii and the GameCube came at the same time, and then the Wii U got zhushed up HD ports of Wind Waker and Twilight
right.
Princess.
Yeah, there
Wind
you
Waker had a bigger zhush up than Twilight
Yes.
Princess. I will say.
go. Anyway, Hayden Goff gives $5 and says, "I remember reading that the Masquerade level in Dishonored 1 was a nightmare for testing, and players needed increasingly obvious tells."
Yeah, it's also tough when a
Interesting topic.
game. Yeah, when a game is open-ended in the tools at the player's disposal, how they can get around the environment, how they can enter a place. Like when there's that much freedom, then it becomes even more difficult, I would say. Because people have been playing the game in different ways leading up here.
I think conditioning is the thing there, right? If you condition the player, if you have a plethora of options, as long as the player's been conditioned to use them correctly, then there's multiple ways you can find entry points. The same for like in Hitman, right? You're conditioned to go towards people to get costumes or like outfits, but then those people are always going to be the solution to finding new ways of getting in, be it through their disguise, they say something and give you a hint, or like, so as long as they're conditioned to look for the right things, you're fine, but it does get exponential.
A $20 super chat with no text in it. I'll leave you to guess who actually donated it.
Who's that from?
Nami Duncher.
You got it.
Himself.
It's good old Duncher. It's good old
Duncher.
Douchey.
The big Dunch.
Good old Nami Douchey himself.
The big Dunch.
Alex Armstrong gives $5 and says, no thoughts on today's topic, but rewatched a certain semi-emblematic. Yahtzee, why were you bothered by unpacking knockoffs but not Balatro clones? Well, because they weren't the same thing, Alex Armstrong. I was referring to the fact that fucking mobile developers literally ripped off unpacking, like within a week of it coming out, right down to visuals, and immediately started making bank off of it. Whereas Balatro clones are just developers exploring that mechanic in different ways.
Yeah. I guess, I could understand how there's sort of like a wavy line between them, but yeah, I do agree that I feel like there's the, oh, you're just wholesale stealing this, and the other, oh, you're one of the many games that is taking a look at this core mechanic and trying to apply it to a different card game or Pachinko or whatever.
I think, another thing is unpacking is a quaint little indie game that is extremely niche, and Balatro made more money than God. So
yeah.
Blistered Soul gives $1.99 and says Hellblade's detailed environment is pretty aimless. Yeah, now you mention it.
Yeah. That also doesn't you aren't in a game like Horizon. There's a bunch of shit to gather in the environment, so you want to kind of scour everything and make sure you have enough arrows and crafting materials and all that garbage. Whereas in Hellblade, there's just not that much to grab. So
no, it's pretty linear.
Yeah, and you're not worried like, oh, is this pile of bones contain a bone fragment shard for me to craft? You're like, no, nothing. I'm not picking anything up.
And is there anything more wasteful than crafting games? I was playing Skyrim, and I noticed that one of the bushes I could loot was just covered in berries. Tons of them. Every single branch, a little berry on the end. And so I used it, all the berries disappeared, and one berry was added to my inventory.
There's only one good berry, though, have all been soiled.
Man, fucking prima donna over here. This is the only berry worthy of my standards.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking berry, though.
Yeah. Or in something like Evil Within, there's like an enormous pile of ammunition, and you pick it up and get like 2 bullets out of it.
Yeah.
No, the rest were too flat.
Flat boxes.
Mirith gives $2 and says, a tip for using canonical cloacae.
Yep.
Canonical cloaca.
Shout out to
Cloaca.
Canonical.
Say that 10 times fast.
Canonical cloaca.
Canonical cloaca. Canonical cloaca. Ku Klux Klan. Witticism gives $5 and says, finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth recently, and that is the worst yellow paint in recent memory. Cloud climbs so slow, they could have just arranged rocks as steps. Yes, I made a similar point. It might as well have been a fucking ladder.
Yeah.
It also turns out taking a game that was designed for a different format and then changing every aspect of gameplay, and things get messy real quick.
I don't know. I didn't mind I thought the climbing was very easy in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it wasn't like expressive climbing like an AC game, but I think little bits of climbing and tiered geography do their part in making the thing feel like an adventure, as opposed to if everything is just kind of flat. I don't know. Sometimes getting a little climb on can almost feel like a parsley on a plate that you're not supposed to eat, but it's there to look nice. It's there to add a splash of color to your dish.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah.
That's so positive.
Meanwhile, I just
Good,
have parsley out my mouth, it's fucking stuck in my teeth.
I want to
it's
eat
good.
it.
It's good to sprinkle a bit of parsley on lasagna. Oh, I haven't bread posted this morning yet. Just
Oh my
remembered.
god, you
You
didn't?
bastard.
I should take care of that.
Did you
when
not
this is
make
over.
anything? You said you were going to do coconut.
Yeah, I made something. I just forgot to bread post.
I wonder why my
I'll
day
bread-
felt empty.
Does it even
It's
count? If you don't show it to us, does it even count?
My bread turned out really well this week as well. I'm
Nice.
keen to show you the
If
pictures.
if a bear makes spread in the woods, did it even shit?
Think
Think
about it.
about it.
Think about it.
Mr. Arms and Legs gives $2 Canadian. There's hope Prince of Persia remake doesn't use it or innovates on it. Optimistic of you to assume that's still happening, Mr. Arms and Legs. But you know,
Maybe
it's
we'll
nice
see it
to
at Gamescom tomorrow.
it's nice to live in a little dream world. Perhaps we could all come and join you there someday. Drop a bit of ketamine first.
There you go. Eh.
Alex Armstrong gives $2. Says, no, I was asking why RE4 Luis's I is bad. Because it's like a stereotype of Spanish people. It brings back unpleasant memories of Alpha in the original Power Rangers TV series.
Yeah. Famously a Hispanic robot.
Yeah.
Was Luis like that only in the original or in both the original and the remake?
Just the original.
Gotcha.
In the remake, obviously, everything has to be taken very seriously.
Woke came for us.
Dr. Theo gives $5 and says, just wanted to say, I've been planning on turning Yahtzee's Galaxy trilogy into D&D adventures, especially the heist part. A sci-fi story in D&D. How will that work?
Impossible. There's no Dungeons or Dragons in space.
Nobody's ever done it.
Is it going to be like steampunk space stations?
Steampunk Willie?
Is that a thing? I feel like that has got to be a thing.
What? Steampunk?
Yes, I'm glad you enjoyed the heist story in the second book. I was proud of it myself.
Yay.
LOTR fan 193. Oh, you'll want to be tuning in Wednesday on Fully Ramblomatic. LOTR fan. And gives $9.99 that says, I was at a festival all day Saturday. Here's a bit more for Adventurous Nye and watching the stream afterwards. Thank you very much.
Ooh, thank you so much.
And then Alex Armstrong comes back with $2 and says, any more Elite Dangerous tips, Space Commander Yahtzee? For Elite Dangerous, I guess I would recommend having some kind of goal in mind. Like, say, I want to get to this specific star system, or I want to make this amount of money. Because it's a fairly free-for-all sort of experience, that game.
Sure. Kind of needing to set your own goal.
Yeah, it's sort of like Minecraft in that respect.
Yeah.
It's all very well being in that world, but you're the one who has to decide you're going to build a giant golden statue of a man with his knob out.
Yeah. I remember I was going to ask you a question without knowing what you thought of the Shire cozy game. Are there any properties out there you think would make a good cozy game?
Great British Bake Off.
Great British Bake Off. Did you say Gears of War? Yeah, that's a cozy. That's a cozy.
No, Yahtzee's one's actually pretty good. I'd love a cozy cooking game about Great British Bake Off.
Well, if they did make a Great British Bake Off game, I expect it would be atrocious.
Yeah,
because they made something out of Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, and it was awful. Just one of them fucking stupid, mini game safaris.
Cooking Mama ripoff.
How would you do a Great British Bake Off game if you had to really take the design seriously?
Oh, it'd be so difficult, right? Because they do such a range of different cooking techniques. So you'd need failure states for each individual step within the different cooking. So it'd be a nightmare.
I mean, it'd be like
having to know, right? You'd have to know baking, I suppose. Said, how long should I bake this to make sure it is soft but not crunchy once it comes out?
Yeah.
You just have to know.
Would it have to be multiplayer?
Possibly not.
That'd be interesting. You each get a task every day, and it's done in real time. So you have to actually wait for the thing to
You have
make
to
and
actually
bring it
make,
out.
yeah.
I mean, Tales of
And
the
it's
Shire
actually judged by people.
Yeah.
Tales of the Shire actually does have a rather interestingly nuanced cooking minigame.
Oh, look at that.
Where it's not just following directions, you have to pick the right ingredients and pick use the right utensils because your food needs to come out a certain way. You want it to be, if you want it to be like tenderer, you have to use like the frying pan to cook it just enough so it gets to the tender sweet spot.
Not a,
it's
it
just
actually turn into a button prompt thing like Yakuza or Fantasy Life.
I would say cooking in Tales of Shire amazingly is a lot more than just press the button prompt when we tell you to.
Yeah,
and it's probably one of the game's stronger features.
agreed.
Yeah,
I wanted that to be expanded on more.
Anyway, Inverse Skies gives $7.99 to say, I'll take yellow paint over being hopelessly lost. My time is limited gaming-wise, so if I struggle to navigate it, actively worsens my experience. Yes, of course, I've already got some very important business meetings you have to get to, Inverse Skies.
Stocks, bonds, whatnot. Buy low, sell high. Yeah, I think, what it boils down to is I think a lot of that is giving us the choice, like we mentioned. A thing we can turn on, a thing we can turn off, a thing we have control over.
Accessibility.
Yay.
And then Evil Engine number 9 gives $5 and simply says, puppy tax.
Yeah, puppy, look at
Pluto
that.
Go on, Toffee, and you keep.
Dogs.
Dogs.
What an incredible amount of dogs. An incredible amount of dogs.
Duffy,
Two whole dogs.
See how he dances for your puppy tax. This is his life now.
This is his life.
You dancing?
Yeah.
To our audio-only audience, several dogs are dancing in front of their cameras.
Yes. All right, that's enough.
We did it.
Okay.
I mean, you only gave $5.
You don't think it doesn't deserve the $5 didn't earn a full puppy routine?
Yeah.
Ludo just slumped over like that was the most taxing thing she's ever done.
I don't want to fucking be here anymore.
Well, that's the end of the super chats.
Incredible. Can't believe we did it.
I know.
Absolute cinema.
Slightly earlier than usual. I think some people were having trouble with the connection.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yellow paint
out
to
of
lunch.
money. They gave it to us all on Saturday.
This is true.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, thanks again, by the way. Hey, since you've got your wallet out, why don't you buy a T-shirt as well?
Incredible.
A Vorifax T-shirt. So good.
Yeah, we got new ones. You might have seen an ad at the start of this podcast.
Yeah, I'll drop the link right here. We got a new Yahtzee Middle Finger shirt, Hot Monday Energy, Vorifax, fucking rolling.
Yes.
There you go. I found it.
We've
I found
got
the
it
link.
all. We've got it all for you. Thanks for listening to the Part of the Windbreakers podcast once again. I was Yahtzee Croshaw. Jay and Marty were up there somewhere. And don't forget, Second Wind has content every day. I say that, but how could you possibly forget?
Impossible.
We keep reminding you all the time. Fully Ramblomatic this week on Wednesday. We'll, as we've already hinted, we'll be covering Tales of the Shire, the Lord of the Rings TM game. And I also have my stream on Wednesday, Yahtzee Tries. Who's going to guest on that? Marty, are you going to guest on that?
It would be my honor.
All right then, sorted. And then I'll have a semi-ram dropping on Thursday. This week it will be on the subject of skill trees. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they overused? We'll find out.
Damn.
So, and yeah, that's my stuff. What else we got?
Jay, you had a whole goddamn video go up this morning.
I had a big video come out today. Yeah, my video on patents, video game patents, came out today, and I'm very proud of it. It's one of my favorite episodes I think I've done recent memory. So check that out. Come tell me your opinions on patents in the Design Delve chat in the Discord. And yeah, I'm sure I'll be on a few streams this week doing some fun things. And as a reminder, guys, this stream got very, very close to discussing details of my game. So if you want to be in the know about that, join the Patreon. Because next month, I'm going to be doing an entire video revealing it to you wonderful, wonderful people. So yeah,
Oh.
that's me.
God damn. What a spicy little tease right there. Love it.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then in terms of other stuff this week, we got Hidden Gems, normal time, Hot Monday Energy tonight. Whole crew will be there. Tomorrow, we'll be covering Gamescom stuff starting around 12:30, around this time tomorrow. So tune in for that. That should be fun. Yeah, normal streams the rest of the week. Casey and I will be jamming through more Jack and Daxter. I might be finishing Fallout New Vegas on Thursday. If not, I'll probably finish it next week. And then I sent a message in the Discord, but Phoenix tier folks, Friday, 2 p.m. Central, we're doing our monthly movie hang. So tune into that on Friday. And then Yahtzee, we got a couple more super chats and whatnots that came in.
Yes, I noticed. Just a moment. La 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 la. Dr. Theo gives $5, says, I want more games where the main puzzle is hard to find locations. Things like Shipwreck 64, where glitching yourself outside is completely intentional. Yeah. When you mentioned that, I thought of a game I played on Yahtzee Tries a while back. I've just been trying to find it. It was Ereban Shadow Legacy, if you recall that, Marty. I think you were on that time.
I do, but what?
But well, specifically, I was remembering a bit where I accidentally glitched through a wall and fell out of the map.
Oh yeah,
And after I fell into the abyss of the absence of map, my character sort of was warped back to the previous position they'd been at, and the character said, "What the hell was that?"
yeah.
And I just liked that as a touch.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That they're like, listen, we know there's going to be some wonkiness in our game, but we'll just directly acknowledge it.
Yeah. That was a nice little touch. It's nice when a game character reflects the feelings of the player so directly like that. Magician Man gives $5, says, I liked the paint and grapple points in Expedition 33. You're following in the footsteps of past expeditions that have deliberately forged the trail. All right, well, but who's keeping those lanterns lit? Eh?
Yeah, that was always one of the things too, was like the game not having a mini map was like, well, this game could have a mini map diegetically because you are expeditioners and you are following the path of those in front of you. So like this would be something you would be taken care of. But yeah, still a cool game.
And then Tsunami Duja gives $5 and says, have a nice week, gentlemen. Momenti.
What's Momenti? Is that a spell?
Thank you so much.
Somebody just put a spell on us?
I don't know what that means.
I've shit myself.
Momenti is a Cantonese phrase that translates to take it easy.
Huh.
Famously associated with a Digimon character, Terriermon from Digimon Tamers. I bet Terriermon's a dog of some sort.
Terriermon?
It's literally right there.
That's not even fucking trying.
Oh, that is a dog. Well, it doesn't even look like a dog. I thought it was going to be more like a dog.
Oh, is that the long-eared one? That's like one of the starters or some shit? I don't know.
Apparently. Yeah.
Look at him. It's got big old ears. Looks like a fucking rabbit. This is what you're missing if you're only listening on Spotify.
All right. We're done for realsies now.
I'm proud of us.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
See you on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.